last NASCAR season started off with a bang right here at Daytona as Jamie McMurray silenced his critics by winning the season's biggest race, the Daytona 500. But it ended in a very familiar way, with Jimmy Johnson taking his 5th consecutive championship and drawing comparisons to some of the greatest racers ever. Now we have a clean slate. In 2011, it will all begin here at the Daytona International Speedway. Welcome, everyone, to NASCAR Media Day presented by ToyotaRacing.com, Sponsifire 3. Journalists have come from all over the world to talk to the stars of NASCAR here at the World Center of Racing, and we got you covered all day long as they will come by and talk to us right here on Speed as hope springs eternal as a new NASCAR season is upon us. Hello, everybody. I'm John Roberts. Thanks for being with us. Want to introduce our good friend Hermie Sadler. And Hermie, new is always the key word at the beginning of every season, but this season there's some very, very new and exciting things for NASCAR.
Well, the first most visible thing will be the new paving job here at Daytona International Speedway, which drew rave reviews from the drivers in preseason testing. A new nose on these cars, a new simplified point system, a new way to get in the chase, and new chase format, the whole 9 yards, and a lot of optimism from a lot of these drivers. Everybody comes into this season thinking, number one, I can win the Daytona 500. I can make the chase this year, and we can knock Jimmy Johnson off that perch as a 5-time defending champion. So a lot of optimism and a lot of excitement as we head into this season.
And Hermie, one thing NASCAR really wanted to get accomplished in the offseason was to put more emphasis on winning. The final 2 chase spots will be determined by virtue of wins, so you better believe guys are going to be gunning through it throughout the year.
Well, and they did 2 things. They put emphasis on winning, which is always important for the drivers and the fans. But also with the new point system, I think it helps simplify things for the fans a little bit. Now they know the winning driver gets 43 points plus his bonus points all the way down to the 1 point for the 43rd place finisher. So they kill 2 birds with 1 stone. It'll make it easier for the fans to follow.
And here's another good thing about this day in NASCAR. No one's mad at anybody else yet. We'll all have a clean slate, and everybody's having a good time. And one guy who knows how to have a good time is our friend Rutledge Wood. Rutledge?
Thanks, John. I'm so glad to be here. You know, we're all fans of this sport. When we watch it for 38 weeks in a row, all of a sudden you hit Thanksgiving, and we're just left to look around. That's why it's so fun to get down to Daytona every February, and this day really kicks it off officially for everybody. We got our game faces on. We're ready to get out there, have some fun with the fans. So today's going to be all about fun, hearing what the guys did and seeing how they're looking forward to this year.
Well, Rutledge, we got the Bud Shootout, the 53rd running of the Daytona 500, all coming your way. But first, we're going to talk to the stars of NASCAR here on Media Day. Jimmy Johnson comes by to talk to us about defending his championship. Danica Patrick will tell us what her plans are for this season. And also, defending Daytona 500 winner Jamie McMurray will stop by, among others. Stay with us.
Speed's presentation of NASCAR Media Day is presented by ToyotaRacing.com Sponsifire 3. Sponsifire is back, and this year, the winner gets a visit from their favorite driver. Enter at ToyotaRacing.com. Brought to you in part by AARP. Join Jeff Gordon in the Drive to End Hunger by visiting drivetoendhunger.org. And by DirecTV. Don't just watch TV, DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
Welcome back, everyone, to NASCAR Media Day at the Daytona International Speedway. Remember last year when people started saying there may be a kink in the armor, may be a rip in Superman's cape, and Jimmy Johnson and crew chief Chad Knaus responded by winning their 5th consecutive championship, an unprecedented feat in NASCAR's top series. And now here we are with the man we used to call 4-time. Now we will just refer to you as 5-time or Jimmy. Jimmy Johnson, welcome. Start of a new season. And I know it's been a long time since you felt what life is like not being NASCAR Sprint Cup champion, but what is it like being champion? How much better is life?
It is amazing. You know, a championship for any given year obviously represents doing the best job, and to have that pride to know as a team we were able to overcome and to beat the other, you know, very impressive and amazing race teams in our sport. There's a sense of pride that comes with that we were able to do it as a team and do it again. So it's hard to put it into words, as you pointed out, but we've enjoyed the off season. we know that there are a lot of very hungry race teams, and we're not taking that lightly. We've worked very hard ourselves over the offseason to get the pace and speed back that we were kind of lacking towards the end of the chase last year. And only time will tell if we worked in the right areas. But we feel like we've made some good changes, and we're heading in the right direction.
I know for you, every race win is important. Every championship is important. Last year, to me, you did things a little bit differently, especially in the beginning part of the season. You won some races, not necessarily by dominating, but by doing the right thing at the end. And in your championship, it just unfolded a little bit differently, went right down to the wire. Do you ever think about how all of these different championships and race wins come, or how you're able to do it different ways in last year than you did in previous years?
Last year I look back and think that the races we won early, a few of them, we had good speed. I think of the California race and Harvick coming so strong at the end. We had circumstances kind of help us out with the caution coming out at the right time to put us in the lead. So I think our experience, when I especially look at the end of the season, the experience we have as a group gave us that advantage that we needed to win the championship. And that's something that I've said from the beginning. I would trade my youth for years of experience in a heartbeat. And I think last year really spoke to that. Other years we just had raw speed and won our fair share of races and probably screwed up and didn't win some races that we should have because we were and didn't have the experience that we needed. So last year I'm very proud of how we stuck together through the year, through a lot of trying times, and we didn't tear ourselves down from the inside. There certainly were shots from the outside and people thinking that they had an opportunity to beat us, but we stayed together and won it.
Hey, Jimmy, great football coach by the name of Dom Capers once said you don't really find out about your teammates or about people when things are going good because everybody's happy, everybody's on the bandwagon. When you find out about people around you, what they're truly like is when things aren't going so well. Did you have an opportunity last season when things, by your standards, weren't going very well, to really find out about the people around you and what their character was?
Yeah, without a doubt. And I think that for any race team, you have those moments through every year. And I know that we have. I can go all the way back to 2006, and when Chad was suspended here at Daytona. We could have imploded as a race team, but we didn't. We stuck together, and we learned a lot about ourselves in that moment. Went on and won the Daytona 500, won, I think, in Las Vegas, and went on to win our first championship that year. So I have always felt that I've learned more from the down times and the tough times than I ever have from the good times, to speak to your point. It's easy when it's going well. I mean, it's easy to stand there and say, yeah, we're a unit, we're together. You just won. The tough times really build a team, and I think in a way, I know that losing the championship last year for Denny was really, really tough on him, but it's only going to make him stronger. And I hate to say that because he was awfully tough last year. So I know that he and that team are going to come back stronger this year.
Let's talk a little bit about heading into 2011. For the first time in a couple years, you guys were able to come down here and get some time on this newly paved, fast racetrack. First of all, tell us what you guys learned in preseason testing about your race team, but tell us the reviews on this paving job and what kind of Daytona 500 you think we're going to see.
Yeah, they have put a lot of grip into the racetrack. It is smooth, as everyone has talked about. I think at the Goodyear tire test, there were more large packs out there drafting, and guys got a little bit more of a feel what a race would be like. When I was down for the open test, it was really just two-car kind of push draft sessions. So I think that the shootout's going to be a very good opportunity for me to learn how the race is going to be. But I, a lot like everyone else, think it's going to be like Talladega. Granted, we don't have as much room, and the radius of the corners is a bit tighter, which could lead to more action. But it's going to be fast, as wide as we can make it. I've heard some people reference 4 wide, which is hard to believe. But, we're dumb enough out there as drivers, and we're going to try it.
Hey, Jimmy, the numbers you put together over what is really a relatively short NASCAR career up to this point have been absolutely incredible. Let's take a look at some of them as we see a rainy Daytona behind us right now. 5-time Sprint Cup champion, those all in consecutive years. 53 career Sprint Cup wins, with so many of them coming during the chase. Daytona 500 championship, 9 consecutive years finishing the top 5 in standings. 2009 AP Male Athlete of the Year. There's not much that isn't there. What keeps you motivated? What keeps you driving? I have one maybe sneaking suspicion it might be a little girl.
That doesn't hurt at all. It's just been my wiring, I think. My parents are both very hardworking people, and I think the upbringing I had. I'm 35. If I was in the real world, I'd be working hard to provide for my family, and I'm doing that now. So I don't know. I've been asked that question a lot, but to me, it's just simple. I get up and I go to work and try to provide for my family, and I'm very fortunate to have my job be driving a race car, and it doesn't hurt.
Well, Jimmy, over the last 5 years, no one's done it better than you. Congratulations on championship number 5, and good luck with number 6.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
All right, that is Jimmy Johnson. Now we're going to go over to Rutledge Wood, who is standing by with a guy a lot of people think is going to make his way into the chase this year. Rut?
Thanks, guys. I caught up with Joey Logano. Joey, it is great to see you back. You're looking all nice in your spiff and your suit. You even got a new helmet out.
I'm more pumped up about my helmet than anything else, and I'm just showing it off to everybody. Yeah, I'm going to be a little bit of a show-off today because I think I got a cool paint job on it.
It looks like it should be textured. Did you help come up with this? It's all nice and smooth, though.
No, see, I'm not an artist. I'm not creative either, so I basically give it to them and say, have fun. So I got it a couple days ago, and I'm pretty excited about it.
Now, I don't think it's fair to say you're not an artist. I heard over the off-season you got your own place. Yeah. Out of the folks' place, and you even spent some time at Home Depot actually working on your house.
Oh, I've spent plenty of time at Home Depot. I never realized that until I bought my own house and started figuring out all the stuff you can buy there. There's a lot of stuff I can do, so painting the walls and all that. But see, the thing is, I don't pick out the color. I just paint it. That's kind of how it works.
What I learned when we bought a house was that just because Home Depot sells it doesn't mean that I know how to install it correctly. I don't know if you had that problem.
Well, more than you think.
Listen, I hope you have a great time. We're so glad to see you back. I love the helmet. Joey Logano having fun with us down here. Guys?
Rutledge, thanks a lot. And once again, a lot of people see Joey Logano perhaps running for the championship this year. Want to remind you that Saturday NASCAR Race Day kicks off in Daytona. Kenny, Kyle, Wendy, Hermie, some other guy have the ultimate setup as NASCAR's biggest stars prepare to battle under the lights in the Budge Shootout. NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot from Daytona, Saturday at 6:30 Eastern. Welcome back, everybody, to a rainy Daytona International Speedway and Media Day, but we are dry and warm inside here on Speed, presented by ToyotaRacing.com. Sponsifire 3, certainly last year at this time, all the buzz around the racetrack was Danica Patrick and her arrival in the Nationwide Series. Danica, now you are back for another year. We noticed one thing. There's not the gaggle of cameras following you up here that there were last year. But also,
is that a good thing?
Well, maybe. It depends on how you look at it. But with a dozen races under your belt now, we say it every weekend, and often people make fun of us. But we always say, if it was easy, everybody'd be doing it. How difficult was the learning curve for you last year? And after the races you did run, how much can you say you've learned about these two really different disciplines of racing, from open wheel to stock cars?
They are quite different. I was just talking, actually, that going to a track after I've been there in an Indy car is actually harder, I feel like, to go back in a stock car. You have to unlearn everything and relearn it all. Different line, different feel. So it was more challenging than I thought. I think that I was, the testing that I had done before the season felt so good, and I felt comfortable, although I didn't have to waste any time looking in my rearview mirror worrying about other cars on track. So, and I had a whole day to get down to good times, but it was a challenging year. But I think that the results were probably not representative as to how good we were some weekends for the few amount of races that I've ever done in a stock car. Well, I guess we can tally it up now to 13 or 14 with all the races that I did last year. So, I think that we could have really had quite a few top 15s like I had wanted to, but it seemed like every time I was having a good race, something happened, and every time I was having a really not so great race, nobody managed to hit me, and my car stayed in one piece, and I didn't have any cut tires, and so
I was out there on the racetrack a long time, trying to win races and run up front. I know how hard it is, and it seems like, to me, what you did last year, had it been anybody else coming in to the Nationwide Series and running as good as you did at times and had the ups and downs, it'd be, well, that person's just learning. But with you being under the microscope more so than anybody else that we've seen come in a long time, was that frustrating for you? Because I look at people and say, she's doing good for the amount of experience you've got. So you had to, you had a lot of additional
I think it's because of people like you saying positive things like that. It educates the viewer and the fan to what's going on. You're the official on it. You've been there, you've done that, and you're giving your opinion. And so I appreciate that a lot, because I know that the results weren't great, and sometimes it wasn't looking so good at all. But there were positive things, and so I appreciate when you guys point them them out because it really helps people understand what's going on out there. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I think we could have had some better results, and hopefully we'll do that this year.
Danica, being the one female in a male-dominated profession, is it a double-edged sword? Does it open some doors while it may make other doors harder to get through?
Sure, yeah. I feel like, you know, being a girl in my younger days especially, I felt like I tried not to stand out by being a girl. I knew that I mean, obviously I am, but I tried not to act too girly or wear pink. I didn't want people to look at me and see that as a reason to not have me drive their car. And then as I got older, I started to realize that, you know, there is value in that, and value to sponsors. I mean, like GoDaddy and people like that, you know, can use you. And then, you know, I mean, there's Super Bowl commercials, and it's of value to a sponsor if you can appear for their product or their or whatever you're endorsing. So there are benefits, and it does draw attention. So, you know, people are watching, and they're watching when you do well, but they're watching when you do bad too. But you know, they're watching when you do well, and so sometimes that's not always the case with drivers across the board, as it's missed a little bit. So there's a lot of pros and cons, but I choose to view it as a lot of pros. I feel really lucky. I like being different, and so I find it to be a really good thing.
Danica, thank you so much for your time. Keep up the good work, and best of luck this season.
Good to see you guys.
Look forward to seeing you out there on the racetrack. We still have a lot to come on this edition of NASCAR Media Day, coming to you from the Daytona International Speedway. Former Daytona 500 winner Kevin Harvick will come by and visit us. Kyle Busch, Tony Stewart as well, as we continue our coverage of NASCAR Media Day here on Speed. Stay with us. Perhaps the king, Richard Petty, put it best himself when he said, when you start the season out by winning the Daytona 500, wherever you go for the rest of the season, you are known as a winner. Last year, it was Jamie McMurray that had that title and also put to rest a lot of critics, and he went on to have a fantastic year after that. The defending Daytona 500 champion, Jamie McMurray, joins us now. And Jamie, let's see. Daytona 500 victory, Brickyard 400 victory, had a kid. Pretty good year, I'd say.
Yeah, pretty amazing. Be really hard to top.
Yeah, what do you do for an encore?
It would be tough to do that, but last year was it was amazing, and not only the on track success we had, but having Carter has been just unbelievable.
Hey, I had a bunch of notes here, but Jamie came up and took my notes from me.
I'm always curious to see what they print in these.
Yeah,
it's
I
always
didn't get up in the media guy.
Yeah.
Hey, but you know, Chip Ganassi, not only you, but Chip Ganassi, racing as a whole, stock cars, open wheel, had a tremendous season. And it's pretty interesting because very seldom in this sport do a owner and a driver part ways,
come back
amicably, come back together and have the kind of success you've had. How's that been with you guys?
You know, when I was with Chip before, we really weren't that close, and we didn't talk very much. And
kind of like me and you.
Yeah, really close. Yeah, he'd call me a lot, and I wouldn't call him back. Yeah. But we've become really good friends, you know, and he's my owner now. But we've become really good friends, and that means a lot to me. It's been I've certainly grown up a lot since I was here before. I've matured a lot, and man, it's just been a really good relationship coming back, and by winning those races hasn't hurt anything for sure.
Hey, Jamie, you're kind of in a unique position. If we had this year's scoring system last year, you would have been in the chase.
Yeah.
What do you think about the changes?
Well, I think it's great that I think it's a year late, but I think it is. I think it's wonderful they're going to because really when you look at our sport, the guys that win races are the ones that I think will really contend for the championship, and so I think it's great that NASCAR is going to let those guys in. And I really don't know a lot about the other. I know the structure of the point system, but and I've heard a lot of pros and cons of that. But I think as long as the fans can understand that better, that's really what it's all about. You're not going to race different on the track because of the point system.
I've had a lot of people come, you know, talk racing in restaurants and places, and they think that some fans would think, you know, Jamie came back this year and he was out to prove everybody wrong. You know, I said, let me tell you what the difference was. He had fast race cars that he could drive, and you talk a little bit about what difference that makes. You can have all the inner stuff built up you want to, but you got to have a car that goes.
You certainly have to have drive, but what makes you win is being in a fast car and having the right decisions made on pit road. And last year we had that. You know, I think every athlete, no matter what sport it is, if they have bad years, they start to doubt their ability. And certainly last year I wanted to do well, but I didn't try any harder last year than I did any other year It just I got in the cars, and they built the cars around me, and the setups they gave me just made our cars faster than everybody else's at some races.
I tell people all the time, it's so much more difficult to finish 25th than it is to finish first or second. They don't have any idea how hard you drive to finish 25th.
And I've got to be the guy last year that as you're lapping people, and you see how hard the guy in 20th or whatever is just trying to stay on the lead lap, and people don't realize that you're worn out sometimes halfway through the race just because you were trying to stay on the lead lap. I've been that guy a bunch.
Well, Jamie, keep up the good work. Thank you for your time, and best of luck this season. And as you try to put on an encore to that performance last year, it's going to be tough to top it, but we know you can.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Good luck.
Okay, that's the defending Daytona 500 champion, Jamie McMurray, by the way. Now, we got a very special show coming up here on Speed that you guys are definitely going to want to tune into coming up tomorrow night. It was 10 years ago at this racetrack that NASCAR lost one of its biggest icons and also one of its greatest champions. Whatever NASCAR is, Dale Earnhardt was, and the day is a show that's going to bring that to you as a race fan has never seen before. Let's take a sneak peek.
43rd annual Daytona 500. To the flag.
Come on, Mikey. You got it. You got it. You got it. You got it. Mikey!
Michael Waltrip wins.
This is great. I was hoping Dale was going to catch him. I guess he's all right, isn't he?
Dale Jr. was second. He was third. I just thought it was perfect. Everything went just like Dale said it would, and I couldn't wait to see him.
All of a sudden, I saw this black car make this abrupt right-hand turn. And when I did, the first thing that came out of my mouth to Dale Jr. was, "You lost your partner. You lost your drafting partner."
I hustled down victory lane because Mikey, which he jokes about, for 462 or something, He just won Daytona 500. What a big deal. And I was just with his boss up in turn 3 and 4, and it was a big deal too.
CNN kept talking about it, like, why is CNN covering it so much? And is it that important to the rest of the world?
He'll always be with me, and he'll always be with anybody that knew him.
What the sport lost when they lost Dale Earnhardt was the swagger. Until that is replaced, the sport will always have a void.
There weren't any words. We just grabbed each other and held each other and went to the motorhome and began to try to live with it. I started wondering how I was supposed to feel at that moment, and I haven't stopped wondering since.
Join us here on Speed Friday night for the very special premiere of The Day, a look back at the day that changed stock car racing history forever and shook those closest to Dale Earnhardt, as well as millions of race fans around the world to their core. The Day premieres 7:30 Eastern Friday night exclusively on Speed, and we have much more Media Day coverage coming your way in a moment. It is a rainy day here in Daytona, but we are indoors, dry and warm at NASCAR Media Day as hope springs eternal as a new season is upon us. Now, here at Media Day, you never know who's going to be asking the questions. Sometimes it might just be a fellow competitor. We got 2 champions there. We got the series champ and Jimmy Johnson, the Daytona 500 defending champ in Jamie McMurray there, and then the media just went in and blocked everything. I guess that's what we're here for, is to ruin that. We've got another champion for you in just a moment in Todd Bodine, but right now we're going to check in with Rutledge Wood, who is hanging by with a guy who has a chance. If he could get a Sprint Cup Series championship, he would be the first driver ever to win the championship in NASCAR's 3 Top Series. Rut?
Thanks, John. Caught up with Greg Biffle down here. Greg, are you okay? What's happening?
No, I'm just looking at your shoes. I like those.
Well, you guys have all your new gear on. I thought it was time to step it up a bit.
I like that. And the green. Looking good.
John's made fun of me already a couple times today about it.
All right, I'll leave you alone.
Listen, exciting off-season for you. There was some news. Now, let's see. You didn't change sponsor and get a crazy haircut.
Nope.
Anything else going on?
Not really. I was just working on my yard and things like that before I came down here.
That's not true. You guys are having a baby, aren't you?
Yeah, I forgot about that.
No, you did. I heard you guys are having a girl.
Yep, having a baby girl July 10th, so I'm pretty excited.
Wow. What's your mind like right now? Are you starting to think about it, all the things you're going to have to do?
I was really thinking about racing, but yeah, I'm going to, I guess learn how to change diapers, and do those kinds of things. Or do what my dad did, if I messed diaper, he just set me in the sink till my mom got home. So
you could carry on that same tradition. That'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, that seems easy enough.
All right,
Mom will be home in a little while, you get taken care of.
Now, I know you'll get this question a lot, but since everybody's asking, and there's going to be, there have been a lot of girls that have been had recently. Yep. Do you think, your daughter could race Kenseth's daughter one day and Jimmy Johnson? Do you think that's going to be there?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I more think that Jamie McMurray's boy is going to have a lot of girls to play with.
Now, I think that's the best way to look at it, too, Greg.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they'll probably all be doing something together, racing out there around the, the playground or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Buy a shotgun now. Guys, Greg Biffle.
And whatever they do, no doubt they will do it fast. We got another champion here with us, from a former Truck Series champion in Greg Biffle to the defending Truck Series champion, Todd Bodine. Todd, congratulations on a great season last year, but looking forward to this year. The Truck Series, year after year after year, puts on one of the best shows of the week here at Daytona. You guys got to be looking forward to this race.
I'm always looking forward to Daytona. I've been fortunate enough to run really well here, and, of course, we got 2 wins in the trucks. But I think that this year, with the grip in the racetrack and the new pavement, the tires that Goodyear is going to bring for us, you're going to see 3 wide. And I think it's not in just trucks, but all 3 series. You're going to see 3 wide, 10 rows back. It's going to be so competitive, and it's not the old Daytona that we're used to, where handling is the issue. Then that's the key, because handling's out the window, and now it's going to be more like Talladega, where it's pure speed.
We love having the trucks here on Speed live every week. It's one of the things we're most excited to bring to the fans. But looking them down the roster this year, this Truck Series is going to be more competitive from top to bottom than it has been in the last 3 or 4 years. What do you look for? I know you want to try to repeat. Who do you look for as your main competition there?
Well, I'm one of those people. I look at everybody. We've got 15, 16 teams that can win a race on any given weekend, and the competition level in the trucks has always been really good. But this year, it's just stepped up that notch. The one team I'm looking forward to is Jason White. I was asked earlier who's the dark horse. I think Jason. He's got a lot of talent. He's going to have a great race team, and he's the guy to look at that's going to come out of the pack.
Well, Todd, congratulations once again on the championship. Best luck this year, and we appreciate your time.
All right, guys. Thank you.
All right, that is Camping World Truck Series champion Todd Bodine. And if you want to check out Todd and the rest of the series, Speed is the place to do it. February 18th, the world's toughest truckers hit the high banks for the season opener. Remember the dramatic win for Timothy Peters last year. If you want to see a similar outcome, once again, when the green flag drops, it's 3 wide and full throttle. Don't miss the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series from Daytona, February 18th, 7 Eastern. Live on Speed. And when we come back to NASCAR Media Day, a guy who knows a thing or two about winning at Daytona, Kevin Harvick, will join us, and also perennial championship contender Kyle Busch will come by as well, and Tony Stewart. Stay with us, everybody. Welcome back, everyone, to NASCAR Media Day, presented by ToyotaRacing.com and the Sponsifier. This race back in 2007 provided us with one of the most exciting Daytona 500 finishes we had ever seen, and it also gave Kevin Harvick his place in Daytona 500 history. Welcome back once again to the Daytona International Speedway, that winner of that race and also the championship contender from last year. Kevin, oh, so close. You got a new look this year, but looking back at last year, I know you guys wanted that championship badly, but at the same time, you got to take some really, really positive things out of the fact that you guys were in contention.
Well, I think you have to look at the year before and really look at where we were in 2009. And you look at 2010, and we were in contention, led the points for most of the season, and we're up in the middle of it until the very end. So we know we have a few things that we need to work on. We don't have to overhaul anything, but we also don't need to sit on our hands and not try to get better. So it's the guys have done a good job. We changed pretty much the whole pit crew, but the rest of the team is the same.
Talk about your sponsor. I mean, a lot of good things happening for RCR, but Budweiser is pretty high-profile company to be driving for. I know that makes you and the 29 team very proud to be carrying those colors this year.
Well, it makes my job easy too, because I get to go to a lot of things that I enjoy. We went to the Super Bowl last week, and so everything that Budweiser does is first class. So it's hard to match the publicity and things that come with the Budweiser sponsor and the outlets that they have, and you get to go out and go to the sporting events and have a few Budweisers yourself. So it's a pretty easy job, but we're happy to have Budweiser on board along with Jimmy John's as well.
Hey, Kevin, not only did you take over a very high-profile ride in the Sprint Cup Series when you started out, but you also at the same time went right into developing the truck team, the nationwide team. I mean, just how busy of a guy are you these days with all those teams and also all the success you guys are having?
Well, this winter has been a lot busier than any that I've had over the past several years. We added a truck team, we added a nationwide team with Elliott, and so we have a fab business that has become really big as well. So we have all these new elements, and we have about 130 people that we have now, starting from basically 3 of us into what it is today. But the winter is really when the races are won and lost. The races are won and lost in the shop all year. But right now you got to make sure you have the right people, you have all the stuff that you need to go to the racetrack, and I'm happy to be here so I can be back to my normal job and driving a race car.
Finished 3rd in points last year. What's going to be the difference this year? Obviously, everybody steps up their game a little bit in the wintertime, but what's going to be the difference, or is there one area you need to work on this year to get over that hump?
Well, I think obviously we've worked on pit road. I think that was the main focus of the winter. I think the other thing that we need to work on is just trying to win a couple more races. We won a few races last year, but I think we need to win a couple more, and I think we need to win 1 or 2 in the chase to really get over that hump. So other than that, I like the consistency and the things that we had on the racetrack, but we can always get better.
Where is security? My goodness, he's back.
That guy.
That guy.
That guy. Good name for him.
Look, he's everywhere.
Is it worth dealing with this stuff on Media Day, Kevin? I mean,
look. Wait, my hand's not big enough for that big old head. Probably be better just to go like
Kevin,
this.
Big fan. This is my first time calling the show.
Great.
How's your break?
My break was great. Looks like you ate well.
Thank you. Looks like you're wearing a hat still. How's your hair growing back here? It's getting long. You gonna braid that?
No, it doesn't grow anymore. So.
Oh, those cornrows?
No.
It'd be a nice look for you.
I know. How's it going?
Pretty good. Just watching your interview. Really doing a great job.
Thank you. It's like a behind-the-scenes look.
Is it okay if we continue now, relative?
Yeah, just want Kevin in on behind him all the way.
Go back now.
Do I have authority to send this thing to break or no?
And okay, we want to thank Kevin, but we also want to thank Jason Leffler's barber for working on Rutledge's hair.
Yeah.
In the offseason.
The team Turner cut.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, but Kevin, congratulations on a great season last year. Keep up the good work, man, and try to stay above water there, man. Looks like you got a lot going on, but you're doing a great job.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Good luck to you, man.
Thanks,
okay,
guys. Have fun.
ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Harvick, he's going to be back looking for another Daytona 500 victory this year. Well, still to come on NASCAR Media Day coverage, we have Kyle Busch, also known as the Wild Thing and also known as the man we call Smoke, Tony Stewart, coming up. Welcome back once again, everyone, to NASCAR Media Day, brought to you by ToyotaRacing.com, Sponsifire 3. Speaking of the number 3, Kyle Busch was the only one to ever do it, and that's take 3 races from one racetrack in one weekend. He did it in Bristol in the Sprint Cup, Nationwide, and Camping World Truck Series. That is an incredible feat. And Kyle joins us now. Before we get into the nitty-gritty about racing and everything, we have to see the left side weight now. There's more left side weight in the car.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I appreciate it. Thank you. It's really been great. We had a lot of fun over the winter, and Samantha finishing up the planning, of course, after the banquet and all that. And then, getting to Chicago is where we got married, and it was 53 degrees on New Year's Eve in Chicago.
Wow.
Record 60. So it was a perfect day for us, and had a lot of fun, had a great time with everybody. We had about 300 of our closest friends and family from the race team, from her family, my family, everything all up there, and helped spend it all with us and brought in the new year.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's talk some racing a little bit. First thing,
Let's get right into it.
Let's get right into it. I want to get your take on this. You love to race all the time, everywhere. One of the things that NASCAR did this year was make you guys come out and say, I'm going to race for points in this series. Not that it would have altered your schedule tremendously, but what are your thoughts on NASCAR taking that stance?
I think it's fine. It's no big deal. We know some of us might know what we're supposed to be here for, which is Sunday. And, M&Ms and Interstate Batteries, they pay for a lot of money for us to go out there and run in the Sprint Cup Series and chase after a championship and our dreams, because it does cost an awful lot of money to do that, and then The Nationwide side, those guys with Z-Line Designs and NOS Energy Drink and Pizza Ranch, the people at Joe Gibbs Racing that we have there, they pay an awful lot of money too, but it's not quite at the level that the Sprint Cup Series is. So when you had to check that box, it was the simplest thing to do. You know, it didn't make me feel bad one bit about what we had going on. We knew we could still race, and those guys, they want to have the advertising that they can get and the promotions that they can do and the driver likeness that they can get as well with myself. And so it's a neat opportunity for them to still have us be able to race in the series at least, which is good, that they didn't cut us out so many times. And we can still race after an owner's championship, so there's still some pride to be received at the end of the year too.
And Kyle, of course, that big prize is the Sprint Cup Series championship. You've been close so many times before, and I know this it's such a dumb question to ask, but is there one thing that you can look at that's said in the past that although you've won so many races, you haven't quite been there at the end for the championship? Is there any one thing you can put your finger on?
Sure, bad luck. I mean, I think it was this year, like 5 or 6 or 8 races leading up to the chase, we finished no worse than 8th. And then we got to the chase, we finished 9th at Loudon, and then we finished 5th at Dover or something like that, and we're 2nd in points. And I'm like, man, this could be really good. And then we go to Kansas and we get wrecked, and then we got the blown engine that happened at California. So it just set us back. And then once we were back that far, we sort of stabilized in where we were at. And actually we picked up a couple spots because I think we were all the way to 10th, and we got to 8th. So it's too hard to jump those positions when you get that far back and that far behind.
Talk about your crew chief, Dave Rogers. You guys, you won a lot of races a couple of years ago with Steve Addington, and you brought Dave Rogers in, and people from the outside, maybe not knowing the sport, saying, why would they do this? But Dave Rogers came in. You guys have got something special going on there.
Yeah, I appreciate Dave, and I really look up to Dave. And Dave is he's a great mentor. He's a great leader, and he's got a wit about him that just sets him apart from other people that I've worked with in the past. So I really, really respect Dave Rogers and what he does and how he runs his race team. So I'm proud to be associated with him and working with him this year. And, of course, I'm looking forward to winning more races this year, but ultimately being in contention to reach our potential finally, to be there at the end of the year that we can win the championship.
Well, Kyle, if there's one thing you know how to do, that's win races. Keep up the good work. Congratulations on everything in the offseason and last season, and best of luck this year.
Well, we'll do it. Look forward to seeing you guys hopefully many times at Victory Lane.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Kyle.
See y'all.
And if you want to see the stars of NASCAR choose their starting position for the Budweiser Shootout, we know where you got to be. Tomorrow, tune in as Harvick, McMurray, Johnson, Gordon, Busch, and the biggest names in NASCAR kick back, hang out, and determine the starting order for the Bud Shootout. Don't miss the Budweiser Shootout Selection Show Friday at 8:30 Eastern only on Speed. Still so much to come on this edition of NASCAR Media Day. Smoke, Tony Stewart will come by to talk to us about racing here, and also another driver with a new fire suit on this year, Casey Kane. Stay with us. Welcome back, everyone, to Speed's coverage of Media Day for NASCAR at the Daytona International Speedway. Drivers are getting all kinds of questions, as you can imagine, as media members from all around the world have come to talk to their favorite driver and the drivers the fans want to hear from before this season starts. Now, believe it or not, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is scheduled to make his 400th start in this year's Daytona 500. 400 starts. How time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like that many starts, though. Because we were at the media day, and Mark Martin said that he had like 800 and something. So, I mean, 400 doesn't seem like a lot anymore. But and it has, it's not. So, hopefully I'm around for another 400 or 500 or however long I can run.
You're getting old.
Really? You think so?
How about me?
We're the same age, right?
Close.
I think I've gotten to the point to where now I can't remember. It's either 36 or 37. I have to have somebody tell me how old I am. But I kind of like getting older. I feel smarter. Even if I'm not, I feel smarter.
I'm going to start using that myself. But, hey, everybody comes into a new season with a lot of optimism, and I know you have too. And has it been, of course, the big news is, you're working with Steve Letarte. I think you guys are going to be great together, but has it been so far in the limited amount of testing you've been able to do?
It's been great. He's got a great personality. I know he's a great crew chief and done a lot of great things. And I've enjoyed watching him and his team work together and how uniform they are about what they're doing and their preparation, toward the Daytona 500. But the relationship with the 48 team, everything's really been interesting for me, and I've liked everything I've seen so far. I mean, I hope that I can get out there and run well on the racetrack. make them feel like I'm an asset to the team.
Dale, you were second here last year in the 500, have a great record at this racetrack, 12 wins overall. This has to be a really good place for you to come. Any of the plate tracks with your record, does it give you a good feeling to start off the year at a place where you know you've run so well in the past?
Well, I think this is an awesome way to start the year off, running the Daytona 500. There's no question about that. But, you know, the new surface is going to could change a lot of things. Obviously, handling's out the window, so you'll just be able to, you know, it's going to come down to who the bravest guy is, the guy that can just drive it up through there and make his own holes and push people out of the way and get to the front, however you got to do that. So it's going to be interesting, I think. It's going to be action for the fans, a lot of action. So hopefully the bravest guy that can miss all the wrecks and be there at the end.
What's your schedule look like this year? I know you focused on your Cup Series effort, but the fans like when you come down and run a nationwide race or two every now and again. Are you planning to do that any of this year?
Yeah, right now I'm only slated for running 3 nationwide races, and one of them's here this during speed weeks, and I think we're going to run Talladega and somewhere else. But we still have a few races available that aren't sponsored on the 7 car, and we put packages together that sometimes include me in running a race, and there may, so we may have a race or 2 added to that. But right now I'm only running 3. I enjoy racing in the Nationwide Series. I think the changes they made to that series are going to make it better and make it more reliable as a feeder series to the Sprint Cup. And I'm looking forward to seeing how that works out, if that does truly work as they intend it to, and it'll be interesting.
If you ever have any openings for overweight, call me before you call Jimmy Spencer.
Sure, man.
You? Okay.
You got 100,000. Hey,
overweight and middle-aged.
You got 100 grand, you can drive it.
Yeah,
there you go. Hey, Dale, Mr. Hendrick was pretty adamant about saying earlier in last year, that the crew chief change was not to benefit just the 88 car. It was to benefit the team as a whole. With a guy like Mr. Hendrick behind you, does that take pressure off, or does it add more because you want to run so well for him?
I think it's you know, working everybody at HMS will tell you that Rick is a fun guy to work for, and he's a kind of guy that you want to make proud. You want to go that extra mile, and you know, everybody from the top to the bottom feels that way at that organization. And you know, obviously, so as a driver, I feel the same, and I want to, you know, go out there and do whatever I can to make him happy and make him proud and do good things for him. And you know, I feel that way about not only him but the whole team. You know, like I said, I want to be an asset to this team. I want to be a working piece of the machine, and you know, that's just the way I look at racing, and that's the way I've always kind of looked at that relationship with the crew, and working for Rick's amazing. I mean, the guy does a lot of great things for a lot of great people, a lot of great stories that you'll never hear, that, you know, things he's done and how he's helped out here and there and certain individuals, and you know, he's got a great heart.
Well, Dale, congratulations on reaching 400. We hope it's more than 400 more that you're around for a race, and we look forward to seeing you this year, and best of luck.
No problem. I appreciate you guys having me on. Good to see you.
That's Dale Earnhardt Jr., driver number 88. And, oh, I'm sorry. I left you hanging, man.
You did.
I turned on number 50. All right. Be sure to tune in next Friday night as the biggest party in Daytona gets revved up. Tune in as Brian Vickers talks about his return to Sprint Cup competition. Plus, Michael Waltrip reminisces about the life of Dale Earnhardt and the drama of the 2001 Daytona 500. It's all on trackside Friday at 6 Eastern on Speed.
On Speed.
Welcome back to Daytona, everyone. No sophomore jinx for Stewart Haas Racing, as Tony Stewart found his way to victory lane multiple occasions last year, and also teammate Ryan Newman made it as well. And now they are back to try in season number 3 to get just a little bit better in every aspect of racing. Here at Media Day, race car drivers and media members from all over the world are here. And, Tony, we had to do a double take on you. We knew from the driver's suit that was you, but we were wondering who this skinny guy was running around in there. You look great.
Well, it normally makes me uncomfortable when men start talking about men's weight, but I appreciate the comment.
We know it's tough. But, Tony, you said you've been very busy lately, and I guess part of being an owner-driver, that just comes with the territory, doesn't it?
Yeah, we've already been in Florida for almost a week now with our sprint car team. So, you know, it's been nice to get down here a little bit early and, you know, get out of the Midwest ice storm that we had in Indy. So it's been nice to come down and already get racing.
You've been around racing and racing cars your whole life, but you know, when you became an owner at the Sprint Cup level, that's a big jump from the other ownership stuff you've done in the past. What have you learned, or was there anything you've taken from that, or what have you learned about yourself and racing that you didn't know before you took on this venture?
I learned that last step was a step into insanity. But no, I really enjoyed it. I mean, I'll be honest, it's hard to know and it's hard to anticipate what it's going to be like to be an owner at this level, but I really enjoy it. I mean, I like working with our guys. I like having Ryan Newman as a teammate. It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of stress. It's a lot of commitment, but when you have a good day, it's a great day. But when you have a bad day, it's a terrible day. I mean, you feel the weight of the whole organization on your shoulders, but that's what makes it fun. I like that challenge. I like, I like seeing it build and seeing it grow. And, we've got great people. We've got a great co-owner with Gene Haas and, the great partners that we have on board. That's what makes us click.
Do you think it helps to a certain degree to when people have questions that come out of different aspects of the organization, they're talking to a guy that's been there, done that too? Does that help some of those relationships?
Well, you're giving me too much credit because I'm not that smart. But the one
I'm
thing
trying. We don't live TV.
I would love to think I'm that smart, but I'm not. But I think the one thing that I am smart enough to know is that I can't do it all, and I don't understand it all, but I know how to find the right people that do know how to do it right. So. And that's something I learned from Joe Gibbs, years ago, is that you hire the right people to do the right jobs and you let them do it. So, and you have to trust those people. You have to have faith in them. And that's what we've got. I mean, we've got a great family at Stewart Haas Racing and people that really have come together. We have that family atmosphere, and I think that's something that separates Stewart Haas Racing from some of the other organizations. That you still run it like a business, but to us, family comes first, and all those people at Stewart Haas Racing are our family.
Tony, you said something real cool last year that definitely sticks out in a lot of people's mind, that there might be a couple hundred guys out there that have the same driving talent as you did, but things had to come together to give you the opportunity, and therefore you have a really great appreciation of what you've been able to do in racing.
Yeah, there's 1 million drivers in the United States. There's 43 of us that get to race a Sprint Cup car every Sunday. So, but you know that there's more than just those 43 of us that run every week that have the talent to do this. It's just being in the right place at the right time and having the right opportunities, and that doesn't always work out. And it's what I caution parents at this, in this day and age. It's just like CEOs of major companies. There's a lot of people that can be CEOs, but there's only so many companies, and there's only so many of those spots available. So, you got to have that dream, and you have to have that desire to be in that position. But I think so many people lose sight, and especially the parents. I blame the parents more than anybody, because the parents push so hard and push their kids that the kids don't have fun at the level that they're at, and don't have fun doing what they're doing because their parents are looking so much further ahead that they put that pressure on those kids, and it takes the fun out of the racing for them. So have fun at doing whatever you're doing, and if it works out that you go up to the next level, great, and if you make it to this level, that's even better. But make sure that you're having fun, whether you're racing go-karts or sprint cars or sprint cup cars. I mean, have fun doing what you're doing.
Well, Tony, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it, man. Keep up the good work, and we look forward to seeing you on the track.
All right, guys. Thank you.
All right, that's Tony Stewart, Stewart Haas.
It's all right. I get confused, too.
Stewart Haas, team owner and driver. Here's a trivia question for you. What current NASCAR driver is on the New York Times best-selling book writers list? It's Michael Waltrip. There's only one answer to that question, and he's standing by with Rutledge Wood. Right?
Thanks, John. Caught up with... Sorry, what is happening over here? Oh, good. AJ's here, too. I was going to say, caught up with Michael Waltrip, and now people are messing with me. Good to see you, buddy.
It's good to be here.
Well, it's just nice to see you in your fire suit getting geared up for Speed Weeks.
Yeah, I'm going to get to wear it a lot in the next 10 days, too. I'm going to run the shootout Saturday night, and then next week I'm going to run the 500, the nationwide race, and the truck race. I get to run a truck at Daytona for the first time, so I'm pretty excited.
It's so cool to see you as such a great ambassador for the sport. You go all over the world, represent NASCAR well, but this is still what you love to do.
Yeah, these banks, man, these bank turns, when I was 12 years old, they inspired me. I could not believe what I saw the first time I looked at those banks, and I just wanted to be a race car driver ever since I can remember. So despite the ups and downs that have come along with Daytona over the years, it's still a place that I dearly love coming to.
It's really cool. We get to give you special congrats because we don't get to do this a lot. Your book is on the New York Times bestseller list. That's insane.
I know. I hope that's true. I haven't really seen like on the.
I think it's number 11.
I haven't. I heard it was right behind Jay-Z. So.
If there was a mogul to follow, it'd be Jay-Z.
But I'm really proud of the book, and you know what? Maybe I haven't been the most confident person in my life over the years, Rutledge, but when the book was done, I knew whoever bought it would like it, and they would appreciate the story. And so then I wondered if they would, but I knew if they did, they would like it. And so that put me at ease with the whole process because I wanted it to be something people would enjoy.
Well, I know people will. Thank you for being here. Michael Waltrip, can't wait to see him all this week. Johnny?
Rutt, thank you. Two-time Daytona 500 winner and author as well. When we come back, Casey Kane's going to come by and join us, talk about his new ride, and also championship contender Denny Hamlin comes by to talk to us about putting last year behind him and going forward with this season. Stay with us, everyone. It is lights, camera, action as NASCAR Media Day rolls on here at the Daytona International Speedway. It may be kind of chilly and drizzly outside, but inside the questions are heating up as everybody is saying they have a great shot this year to A, win the Daytona 500, and B, win the championship because everybody starts with a clean slate. Among the new faces and new places this year, Casey Kane is now with Red Bull Racing, and he is with our Rutledge Wood.
Thanks, John. Yeah, Casey, catching up with you. New year, new look for you. How fired up are you about being with Red Bull?
It's good. It's been a great off season. I'm looking forward to being here at Daytona and getting started. The team's done an awesome job of preparing, and you know, I think for myself, it couldn't be a better spot this year. I'm looking forward to it.
Now, we're really glad to see you up there. I know there's some struggles last year, but one of my favorite things is watching you battle up front. You and Vickers on the same team, but you're both going out there for wins. I just need to know, are you ready to throw some bows, get tough with the hips on the car, or what?
I'm definitely ready. I think Brian's ready. He's been out for 8 months, and he's got to be really excited to be back in a car. And I'm ready to go. I think being with a new team, a new company, a stable place, I don't have to worry about everything. I think it'll be really nice and exciting for myself.
Have you had to use any Red Bull to get through Media Day? I know it's kind of like running the gauntlet in places.
Well, I had one this morning. I have one every morning. I always have. And I'm looking forward to having one a little bit later too, probably.
Well, maybe if we ever need to have a contest, I'd be in. John loves a Red Bull. John?
Big fan. Big fan. Rutledge, thank you, and best of luck to Casey Kane. Get fired up for the duel. The new surface test, NASCAR's best, as they fight for starting positions in the Great American Race. Get ready for two action-packed races that set the field for the Daytona 500. The Gatorade Duel at Daytona next Thursday at 2 Eastern, live on Speed. And a very familiar face there in Victory Lane. He is a four-time champion. Jeff Gordon will join us in just a moment. And also we'll check in with Brian Vickers and Denny Hamlin as well. So stay with us, everybody.
wdiesel.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to NASCAR Media Day. Every year that Denny Hamlin has competed in the Sprint Cup Series, he has raced for a championship. All they did was win last year, and that put him in a second-place finish in the final Sprint Cup standings. And Denny, we know that must have been a little disappointing to not get the championship, but for what your team was able to accomplish last year with the victories and the championship finish, you guys got to have a lot of great things to build on this year.
We do, and I mean, you know, it's not like it was the last year of my career. Hopefully we have many other chances to win a championship. And, you know, you got to put things in perspective, and that's what I did in the offseason. You got to think about it. And, you know, yeah, the last 2 weeks did not go as planned. It didn't go the way we wanted it. But we had a lot of celebrating going on those first 34 weeks, and we had a lot to be proud of.
I don't think it's any secret to a lot of people when the season was over, you're a very competitive person. You didn't win. There was some, I wouldn't call it tension, but frustration between you and your crew chief, Mike Ford, who I know you owe a great deal of gratitude to getting you to where you are. Have you had time through this all season to kind of go back and talk about some of those things that happened and how to you both move on from that?
Yeah, absolutely, and that's part of it. Is me and Mike fuel each other, even though that I don't necessarily always agree with the things that he does and the changes he makes, and he don't always agree with the way I do things on the racetrack. We have an understanding with each other, and that's why it's lasted as long. You know, even though I've only been around since 2006, we have one of the longest driver-crew chief relationships in the garage because we believe in each other, and when it comes down to it, we don't doubt each other.
and your whole organization there at Joe Gibbs Racing from top to bottom. Now, a lot of people are predicting that Joey Logano makes it up in the chase with you and Kyle. You guys have to be very proud of where the whole organization has come over the years, and not just the drivers and crew chiefs relationship with the Toyota Racing, with the engines, and everybody from top to bottom there.
Yeah, it is. And what's exciting to me is I know that we've got the same group of drivers that's going to be around for 10, 15, who knows how many years. You know, these three drivers are going to be together and help grow in this organization. Joe Gibbs Racing doesn't have to worry about signing new drivers. They don't have to worry about, this guy's going to retire in a few years, who we're going to have to fill the seat. They've got the group together now. They've got everyone within the shop on the same page. Now we just got to turn these young guys into champions, and what's it going to take to do that?
All these drivers come up here with their new uniforms on and their sponsors and all that. Now, me being a University of North Carolina graduate, this one right here kind of stands out, this little Air Jordan symbol. Tell us about that.
I'm so excited, obviously, to be the first Jordan-branded athlete ever, and in NASCAR racing. And Jordan's always had a lot of passion for NASCAR racing. Last year, all during the Bobcats games, when I talked to him, he'd want to know, well, how come this happened during the race, or how come that happened? And he was always a big fan of racing. He's had his own motorcycle racing team since 2004, and he always was looking, that he mentioned that he was looking for the right spot to be in NASCAR. And obviously, for me, the Jordan brand is about excellence in sports, and obviously for him to pick me to represent him is a huge deal.
That's cool. And he's got 5 championships, so no pressure or anything, Denny.
I know. A lot to live up to.
Only 5. That's a lot to live up to. Well, Denny, congratulations on last season. Keep up the good work. Congratulations on the new sponsorship, and we look forward to seeing you race this season.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, driver number 11, Denny Hamlin, finished second in points last year. And, Brian Vickers is probably one of the happiest guys to be back at Daytona, and he was kind enough to take one of our cameras along with him on his journey through Media Day.
Hi, I'm Brian Vickers, driver number 83 Red Bull Toyota. Welcome to NASCAR Media Day, presented by, no, I'm just kidding. It's going to be a little more behind the scenes than that. But that being said, as you can see here, there's a lot going on. There's a lot more to our first day back at the sport prior to being on the racetrack than I think a lot of people realize. And I'm going to do my best job to give you a glimpse of what that is. So let's get started. We are just getting going on a very long day for media. I do love the sport. I love racing. This is probably one of my least favorite activities in the sport, but I will say that when you have it taken away from you, you definitely appreciate it more. So this is probably the first time since the first time I've done this that I've actually enjoyed myself. Now we get to the best part of the show, speed. So I'd love to say that the day is coming to a close. Unfortunately, it's just this particular event that's coming to a close. As you can see behind me, 10 cities over. Now we're headed to the speed stage.
Still to come on NASCAR Media Day, more from Brian Vickers, and also 4-time champion and 3-time Daytona 500 winner Jeff Gordon comes by to wrap everything up on this very busy day in Daytona. NASCAR Media Day is presented by ToyotaRacing.com. Sponsor 3. Perhaps more questions than answers, but one thing we know for certain is hope springs eternal as we get ready for the 2011 NASCAR season. This event brings together the stars of NASCAR's 3 top series and media from all over the world. And perhaps there is nobody happier to be in a race suit and back at Daytona than Brian Vickers. Brian, just to recap with everybody, last year, your season was cut short after 25 weeks because of a situation with blood clots. First question, how you feeling and how much are you ready to get back in the race car and get going?
I don't know if I have the vocabulary to really articulate what I'm trying to say here, but I don't know if I've ever been happier to be doing something so boring in my life. No offense.
Understand.
Listen, 10 hours of media, asking the same question. And it's understandable. Everyone wants to get their questions asked, but it's when you're in our position, you ask one question to each driver, but, you've been here. Yeah. It's the same one over and over and over. You just go from booth to booth. But that being said, I am more excited to be here today with a fire suit on than I have been since the first time I arrived at Daytona.
I know you your health was your number one concern when you found out you had the issues, but we've all at some point in our racing career watched somebody else drive our race car around the racetrack. Can you describe that to the people watching, what that's like?
You know, I've had a hard time figuring out how to say this, and I heard a quote, and I hope it's true. I've heard it from several sources, but Dale Earnhardt said it best. Dale Earnhardt Sr., he was out of the car one time for an injury, and he said it was like watching his wife cheat on him. And you know, it really, it's painful. You go to the racetrack, you go sit on that box, you go support the team because you feel like it's what you're supposed to do. But I can assure you, it is not what you want to do. You do not want to be here. You do not want to watch that car go on the racetrack. You do not want to watch someone else get in it. It's painful. It really is. You just want to go somewhere else. You just want to be somewhere else and go somewhere else. And I tried to do some of that, and I did a lot of it. But I also did a lot of the things that I kind of didn't want to do, which was be here and support the team because it was, you know, at times it was the right thing to do.
Now you got a new teammate in Casey Kane. You guys have made it to the chase before. How hopeful are you for this season of really making some waves in the Sprint Cup Series?
Very hopeful. I feel like as a team we're more prepared and more enthusiastic. I don't think it's just me. I mean, I have a renewed sense of perspective and energy and drive to go win, but I've seen the same thing out of the team this year. You know, it's part of it's, you know, I'd like to think it's me coming back, but I think a part of it is a lot of things coming together at the race team. You know, having a strong second car and a strong team, you know, teammate, and you know, Casey. We've had a couple teammates. I've had a couple teammates at Red Bull, and those guys are, you know, they're good drivers, but they don't have any experience in our cars and our racetracks, so the feedback is limited. And I think it's been tough on the team. It's been tough for a new team to try to build without having a veteran guy or two veteran guys in those cars. This year we have that, and not only do we have that, we also have, you know, 4 years behind us of perspective and education as a team. So there's renewed energy at Red Bull that I haven't seen since the very beginning. Obviously I have it, but it's glad to see everyone else has it.
Hey, Brian, we want to thank you for taking a camera with you around Media Day today. Tell us a little bit more. You told us a second ago about that it might be a little bit boring and some of the questions get repetitive throughout the day, but you said you like to be here. Have you heard anything interesting today?
Other than this being the best interview.
Yeah, this one.
Well, this has by far been the best one.
Right.
You know, hands down. I've heard some interesting stuff. Most of probably the most exciting stuff, you know, probably came from me. It's interesting because I've come here so many times, and I guess you just kind of get in this routine, and you give the same answers, and you just know the routine. And this year, it's just like, maybe it's just how my life's changed. Like, I've noticed that I'm much more open and honest about a lot of things, you know, even about myself. Like, you know, more willing to give information, more willing to take digs at myself. And you're going to see some of that in some of the interviews. There's a couple that I can think of that definitely caught me off guard. But I gave them. I think I caught the reporter off guard more than I caught myself off guard.
Brian, it is great to see you back here in a fire suit, getting ready to race in the Daytona 500. Congratulations on everything, and it's good to see you back, man.
Thank you so much.
Good luck to you, man.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Brian Vickers going to be back with us full time again this season, and he's also we appreciate him taking the camera along with him throughout the course of this media day. He's a 4-time Sprint Cup Series champion and a 3-time Daytona 500 winner. Jeff Gordon is coming up next.
Speed's presentation of NASCAR Media Day is presented by ToyotaRacing.com Sponsifier 3. Sponsifier is back, and this year the winner gets a visit from their favorite driver. Enter at ToyotaRacing.com. Brought to you in part by Best Western, the world's biggest hotel family, and by Napa. Napa Know-How.
Welcome back, everyone, to NASCAR Media Day from the Daytona International Speedway. Questions, and more questions from media members from all over the world to NASCAR's top drivers, including 4-time champion and 3-time Daytona 500 winner Jeff Gordon, and he joins us now. Jeff, I guess we could say we saved the best for last.
Oh, sure. I don't know, but I like hearing that 3-time Daytona 500 winner because I can't believe I won the Daytona 500 3 times. That's awesome.
And could well be 4th because you're matched together with one of the top crew chiefs in the game right now.
I love Alan. You know, I've always respected him a lot, and working side by side, you know, in our debriefs and things like that. I always liked the way he went about things, and seeing what he and Mark did a couple years ago, you know, almost winning the championship. I've always, you know, thought the world of him. But working with him, I have a whole new appreciation. I mean, he's just he's just really on it. He works really hard, and you know, I just like the way his mind thinks about what it's going to take to be successful. Of course, we'll have to wait and see, but we had a great test down here in January, fast race car, and we just had a really good test out in Colorado Springs, or Pikes Peak track in Colorado Springs a couple weeks ago, or last week.
I will let you tell the fans yourself, because I'm sure you hear this a lot. People always come to me and say, does Jeff Gordon still want it like he did when he won all those races? And I said, look, I see Jeff a lot, and you can see it on your face. You want to win as much as you ever have, if not more, I'm sure.
Well, the funny thing is about that question is, back when I was winning all that much, it wasn't that I wanted that much. I just had a fast race car. You know, I want it far more today than I ever did then. We have to put those fast race cars together. We've got, you know, I've got to do my part to make that car go fast, and the game has changed. There's no doubt about it. And you know, to me, the real test of a championship caliber driver is being able to you know, move along as things change. That's what I loved about Earnhardt. That's what I love about Mark Martin. And, you know, I want to be able to accomplish that as well. But it takes the whole team effort, and we've got a great team this year.
And you openly, when this first new car first came out, you openly came out and said, I know what I want, but I'm having a hard time explaining it to the crew chief. It was an adjustment for you.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the old car did a lot of things that you wanted it to do. You know, I like the safety aspects of this car and the way it drafts and things like that. But what I like is the last couple of years, the teams have done an amazing job. If you look at the downforce numbers on this car today when it first came, I mean, they've gotten huge downforce into the car compared to the way it started. And it was just so awkward from what I was driving and being successful with. And so you kind of have to reinvent yourself a little bit and try to find out how to relay the information to the team, as well as them get you what you're really looking for. And then when your teammates as successful as Jimmy Johnson, those guys have been, it's hard, you know, for the crew chief to say, well, this is working really well for them, but you're asking for this. You know, do we do that to make you comfortable, or do we give you what's working over here? So, you know, there's a lot of different ways to get it done. And I feel like we've got some, you know, that chemistry back of what it's going to take this year.
Well, Jeff, I'm sorry. We are just about out of time on this show.
Man, that was
quick.
Know
it was quick. I know since you got AARP on your hat, but I hope for all the fans out there, you're not retiring anytime soon, that you got a lot of good years left in you.
No, sir, not at all. You know, what I love about AARP is the AARP Foundation, and that's what the Drive to End Hunger is all about. So text 50555 to donate to help those that are in need, because a lot of hungry people out there, especially those that are, you know, 60 and over. I'm happy to represent them. I got no problems with that.
Jeff, thank you so much. We appreciate your time.
Thank you, guys.
Good luck this
Appreciate
year.
it.
Thanks to everybody who joined us on NASCAR Media Day, especially our good friend Rutledge Wood and all the drivers that stopped by. Now, stay tuned for the premiere of a new series here on Speed, The 10.